Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new podcast. I'm Tia, and this is Brittany. Say hi, Brittany.
I'm gonna say, you know what I always want to say when it's
What?
like it's Brittany.
Wait, has it
I
been
won't say it
30
at the
seconds?
beginning.
Has
I'm
it
gonna
been 30
say
seconds
I'm
yet?
start checking the time.
I always forget if it's 30 seconds or 7 seconds when it
I
comes to
thought it was
YouTube.
I couldn't remember if it was the first 3 minutes, the first 30 seconds.
Oh, they're not that strict with 3 minutes. I mean, maybe one day they will be, which would suck, but
I will say I did learn from some YouTubers though the best way to get permanently demonetized on a video, not like permanently,
hmm
is to say the C word. So I think as long as we don't
Uh,
say that one, I think we're pretty good.
I think we're good. I think we're good. I want to do a brief introduction because this is a new podcast, right? I'm Tia. I'm the content manager for Geek Vibes Nation. You should definitely check them out if you haven't already. But Brittany and I have been friends for like over 10 years. We used to do the top 10 together at GVN, and we decided that we wanted to make a podcast where we could just talk about Star Wars, Mass Effect, other sorts of like nerdy things like that, and just yap. So there is absolutely no structure to this podcast. I don't even think at the time of recording we have a name for it. Um, but
It's
that's
almost
just
like
how
a
it is.
discovery, you know? Because
Yeah.
I feel like for you and I, even throughout the years, we'll be like, oh, I don't really care about that fandom. That fandom doesn't really call to me. That show, this movie, this game. It takes one edit. It takes one tastefully made edit to go, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Because let me tell you, I would not care about the Call of Duty games. If
Oh,
it
yeah.
if it wasn't for, I feel like that was like an awakening for so many people, especially like girls into the like into more of the FPS games, like the first person shooters. It's like it was
Didn't
the Call of Duty boys.
didn't Brittany Broski like say that or something like that?
Yes. I'm sorry, I love Brittany Broski. She I think it was gosh, I was trying to think if it was Ghost or one of the other ones she was obsessed with, but I think if you asked her, she'd be like, I take any of them and
Yeah.
not in a fight.
No, I feel that. So I was thinking about, because right before pressing record you said like that a few years ago I wouldn't have been deep into Star Wars how I was or how I am. And I literally was thinking, I want to say like maybe like 3 years ago, or what, like prior to 2 years ago, right? Because for a while on Geek Vibes Nation, I was doing like GVN Live where we were always talking about news. So whenever there would be like Star Wars news, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not really into Star Wars. Like I've seen the movies, I'm just like not into it. The life now, in the last 2 years, I have like obsessed over the Clone Wars cartoon. As you know, Brittany, I have like read and completed several like Star Wars audiobooks and and obsessed with the game Star Wars The Old Republic. So, it is, it's like the main movie verse maybe isn't my cup of tea, but anything like Clone Wars related or Old Republic related, yeah, I'm here for it.
I think like so I remember the first Star Wars movie I watched. It was the one with Grievous. With
Oh,
General Grievous. Yeah,
Revenge
that
of the
was
Sith.
yeah, that was the first one I had watched because I had kind of heard because I can't even remember how old I was. I just remember my older brother wanted to see it so bad, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're so cool." And my thing is, I guess I didn't understand fully how deep the lore goes
It
with
goes
it
so deep.
because like I was like Jedi, Sith, and like as a kid you're like the Jedi are the good guys, and then as an adult you're like, oh my gosh, no wonder people would like roll their eyes, like they're like you know nothing about it, and then it's like oh well, or like the clones, because
Right.
like, I think about like with us like more recently, well especially me more recently because you hit the ground running with the audiobooks, but I think I remember like I didn't know there was a difference between the stormtroopers and the clone troopers.
Me
And my
either.
brain thought, oh, the stormtroopers. I was like, they're such bad shots. And then I was like, well, then there's Clone Wars talking about, oh, but they're super soldiers. And oh, they're just so specifically trained. I'm like, no, they can't make a fucking shot. A
This
freaking
might
shot.
it's okay. This might make some like OG Star Wars fans like roll, but I too thought the stormtroopers were the same thing as the clones. Like that's why I was like, wait, I thought they all looked alike. I thought they were clones. And then when you're just like, oh, they're different. And now you're like, if someone said that to you, you'd be like, they're different, obviously.
I was gonna say, with as you know, I've been making that Captain Rex cosplay.
Yes,
I
you
was
have.
trying to explain it to there was somebody that had come into my work, and I walked by with like a piece of like I think it was the hand plating, and I was
Mm.
sitting there like, oh look how cool this is, blah blah blah. And they were like, what are you making? I was like, oh, a Captain Rex cosplay. I was like, oh, do you know Star Wars? He's like, is that them robot looking guys? And I was like, I was like, because their whole thing about like don't call them droids
Right?
and like how upset they get. I was like, man. And then I was like, man, now I feel like one of those people that we used to just laugh about, like, oh, they're really deep in the lore. They're really like
No,
hamming it up. And you're like, now I understand.
I feel it. So when I was a kid, I saw Phantom Menace in the theaters, right? Like I was brought to as a child to do that. I remember Dave and Buster's had a game. Like but it was one of those things where it's what you bring a kid to. Like I was born in 1990. It came out the like what's now called the prequel trilogy, right? Came out in the 90s. I saw it. It's not like I hadn't ever seen Star Wars. I just wasn't into it. Whatchamacalls it? Paulie and I, like what, 2 years ago, literally binged the Clone Wars and I was obsessed. Like I could not believe that this cartoon had come with such amazing lore, stories,
It was
characters,
depressing. There's some really depressing parts that I was like, this was a kid's show?
depressing parts, questions about like humanity and everything. And I was like, so then it was like I'm here. I'm for it. Like long live the Republic, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that I don't think I ever said this to you, but like I remember not that I was super against the Clone Wars show. I just as you know had someone in my life that was very very obsessed with Clone Wars. So after things had gone bad, I was like, I don't even care about that show. Because, when it just reminds you of someone, I was like, I don't even
Yeah.
know what this is. I was like, and I didn't care for this show back then either, even though I hadn't I really heard it. And now I'm like, I think I'm in it deeper than they were,
I'm
deeper than they ever were.
it's come to the point where I'm like, I know all the clone units, the differences, like it's so crazy. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it now, right? Like the Clone Wars, I like Rebels a lot. And I didn't realize this because again, I wasn't into Star Wars. Like I didn't realize that like what 13 years ago George Lucas like sold the rights to Star Wars to Disney. And apparently, the reason why Clone Wars was originally canceled was because of that. And then we had
Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Star Wars Rebels, and a lot of people at the time didn't like it because it's like, oh, Clone Wars got canceled for this. The art style is different, but I love Rebels. I love what Rebels gave us. And yeah, I love the Bad Batch. So listen, Disney Star Wars has not always hit, but when it comes to the animated stuff, I think they're doing a good job.
Oh, definitely. Which, now that leads me back to a question that you asked me not too long ago about your favorite armor of the clone troopers. You made me think about it with like, I know all the different battalions, like all
Mhm.
the different ones, all their names. I was like, so what's your favorite?
It's the Captain Rex. Is the
So
cap
you say, is it always going to be those 501st boys?
I love the 501st, but for Captain Rex, what's cool about it is I think I was telling you that I like that his helmet is a merge of phase one and phase two like helmets. I like that he has like the little shoulder pads and the little like I know now it's like I'm not
Now I'm
really
staring at the shoulder pads that I have over here. I'm like,
there's so much to it. And I want to say, in general, I think the 501st has the more personality to their armor. I think they did that on purpose. Like, someone showed that Cody's, right, is very uniformed, like Obi-Wan's like battalion. The 212th, duh. Someone who's watching this is go, you hesitated. You clearly are not a Star Wars fan.
I saw the hesitation in your eyes.
But I like that. I mean, the wolf pack is good too. Some of the more like really creative ones is like Doom. If you see like his and everything, it's all green and stuff.
I
um
don't think I've seen them. Because that's the
there
thing is like I'm playing catch up because where you know how I am. I go on like rabbit trails where I like
yeah,
start de-diving pieces, but it's hard to make me like sit and just like that's why it's so nice when I see you because it's like soaking up like the actual show and not
yeah.
just me hunting down clips of like, oh, what's this? What's this? And trying to learn. But
Wait,
yeah, they
I can share my screen because this is just how this podcast is going to go, and we're going to search it, and that way you have a reaction live. Okay, you ready for
to
this?
Doom or is it
Yes.
Doom like Doom, right?
Right. It's supposed to be, I believe, like a like nod, essentially.
Wait, to like the Doom guy?
Like Doctor Doom in
Oh, Doctor Doom. I was thinking of Doom like the game.
can you see it? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so Doom Star Wars, sorry. Clone. Okay. Hang on. This guy.
Okay, he's cool. I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it makes sense now. He's called Doom, like because I was thinking like Doom and Green, like the guy from the game.
Yeah.
Like the like oh, like the it's a you know what game I'm talking about. But I was gonna say that seeing it with the hood and everything, I'm like,
But
yeah,
I
that's
also
Doctor Doom.
I also want to ask you if you recognize who this person is. Because there's
No.
Doom, that's his Jedi, right?
Oh no. Oh no.
So
How
essentially,
dare you? How dare you do this warfare against me?
which by the
Oh,
way,
Tup with his little top knot.
if you want to say, right? Because like, if you want to get into like the hypocrisy of the Jedi and not forming attachments, this one, right, was a sister, and they like were Jedi together, which I feel like goes against the attachment thing. And
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
and I guess her sister got killed by Count Dooku in the comics.
You know, they really do be like that sometimes. I was like, Dooku, man, I don't know. And with like, trying to think of the word for this. I don't know, like with the clones like being so highly trained, and then you think, oh, the Jedi, and then you think, man, Dooku's at the pinnacle of it. It's like rock, paper, scissors. It's like you got like the clones where it's like, yeah, normally overwhelmingly, and we saw with like actually, I'm like rabbit trailing because I got a thought. Do you think that if they hadn't been caught up by surprise, do you think that the clones would have been able to kill the Jedi as easily as they did?
Like if the Jedi weren't caught off guard, you're saying
Yeah, by
by order
orders.
66?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good question.
Because that was the biggest thing. It was just being ordered and them mostly being caught off guard.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, right? Because
But
and
they
this is
were trained for killing Jedi. They just didn't know it.
and to be fair, like so this is just an opinion, right? I'm not gonna go down like because again, some Star Wars fans would be like, actually, but um, so it's like most clones were, I mean, most Jedi were caught off guard. We saw that a lot got killed, and also like the sheer numbers of clones, right? But
They did have the numbers.
if you go back and rewatch Revenge of the Sith, the one with Grievous in it, once like say whatchamacallit it Yoda like knows, because remember they like go back to the temple and Yoda is just like mowing down clones, but then again it's Yoda, so
Yeah,
you
I was
could
gonna
say like
say he's kind of like one of the pinnacles, you know.
I think there would have still been a lot of death, but maybe not as much, especially if, say, the Jedi were able to train for it. The problem with the Jedi during the Clone Wars era is that they are so confident in their piece and so confident that, like, they got
They got
this.
comfortable. They got
They
comfortable.
and I'm sorry, when you watch the Clone Wars series, you're like, everything was in front of them. The answers were constantly there. And these idiots did not pay attention at all. Like, um, in what was it? Attack of the Clones, the second prequel movie, Dooku literally says to Obi-Wan, "What if I told you that the Senate is controlled by a Sith Lord?" And then in the show, they're always like, "Oh, I always feel like a cold, dark presence whenever I'm around like Palpatine."
Sith artifact just hanging out in his
Just
office.
hanging out there. And they're just like, the craziest one to me is I don't know if I showed you all of this when you were here, but in the Clone Wars, I believe it's in the third season where they go to Mortis and they meet like the father, the son, and the daughter. And there's
Yes. Yes, we did watch that.
there's at some point where the son shows Anakin his future as Darth Vader. And at first I was sitting there, I was like, bro, if Anakin knows all this and the shit still happened that way, but then it's explained that the father like makes him forget that. But I'm
Yeah.
like, it kills me. I know I'm like jumping around a lot, but as we mentioned before, I got really into the audiobooks, right? I just
Yeah.
love them so much. And one of my favorite is the novelization of Revenge of the Sith. And there's a line, I'm like paraphrasing it, where it's like, this has already happened. Nothing can change. Nothing can be done to change it. And it's like every time you watch, you're like, it's like I know what happens and it makes it worse.
You know, I've been like, even though I haven't read in a long while, I keep getting on Book Talk, you
Oh
know,
god.
and there I keep getting the ones where it's like when she haunts the narrative, like basically like when there is a character in a book that's already died and like but they haunt the narrative. They're always like in the background. That's how I feel watching the Clone Wars. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm just sitting there sad because I know what's gonna happen. I know what I'm feeling, and then I'm just like, this is depressing. Because which the clone that was in love with the Jedi, that was Blythe, right?
Yes, I mean it's like it's not
It's
it
heavily uh,
implied like fandom, like it's not canon, but like
yeah,
if you like squint, you're like,
yeah.
mm.
People said that like if you notice when they open fire on her at first when they raise their gun, she turns around because she thinks that there must be something behind her. Because why would they aim at her? Why would they aim at her? So she thinks, oh, there must be an enemy behind me. And I'm like, that is depressing. I am
uh,
now depressed.
the worst to me, the worst one is in Bad Batch, where it's little Caleb and his master Depa Laba, I believe her name is, and Commander Gray starting to shoot at them,
Ray was cool for
and
all
she's
of 5 seconds.
like, "You must run, Caleb, run!" It's like,
Oh,
no.
I said, why are things so depressing? Are there ever dogs in Star Wars? Do we ever see any, like, besides dog-like things? Do we ever see actual dogs in Star Wars?
I don't know. I don't think so. I know that who is it in
Because General Grievous had like his pet,
yeah, and
but
then
it wasn't
in
no dog.
But in the whatchamacalls it? Oh my god, why am I like Fox, his group, right? The Coruscant guards, right?
Yeah.
One of them, I think it's Howl, has like a dog,
Oh,
but
because
like a
it's like a
dog like,
dog-like thing.
dog
Yes,
like, yeah.
because I remember, doesn't it die?
No, I don't remember that. Fox dies in a comic like right after Order
Yeah, it's a
66.
Darth Vader.
The edge
He
lord
did
of all
not
edge lords.
forget. He did not forget.
No, he was
You know,
like
there's like forgive and forget. No, 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 no.
Echo's so cute in the back.
She's such a. Yeah, speaking of Echo, what
Ah.
about Bad Batch? I was gonna say on the note of like, because I was trying to go through where like my favorite armor, and that's what I was saying, like, the 501st, but Rex, or else I wouldn't be making his whole armor set. But I was thinking about the Bad Batch has some really cool armor. Because I was gonna say with me having to do so much research, because I'm trying to get this armor as like canonically accurate, have the tally marks accurate, their placing correct. So all I do is just stare at his armor all the time. You like her back there? Sorry, it started choking me up. What was I saying? What was
Oh,
I?
you're staring at Rex
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah,
day
yeah.
long.
Like I was gonna say, I guess I hadn't realized because like I've missed so much and me having to like catch up and just kind of watching the episodes that I got really confused when I was looking for the armor set because I was thinking, oh, he's a phase one clone, right?
Right.
And so whenever I was like looking for like the 3D models, it was like, hey, here's the helmet, but if you want the armor set, you need to grab the phase two armor, like
Right.
a trooper, like a clone trooper armor. And I was like, phase two, but he's phase one, which then put me on a rabbit hole of like, I was like, I was like, why does he have the blue lines along the cheeks, or like
Mm-hmm.
right across there? And I was like, okay, because I was thinking I got to get those markings in. And then I started noticing, I think the chest too has the markings on the side, like the weld marks.
Okay.
And I was like, why is that? And I was like, oh, he welded them together. He welded them. That's why there's like why I was getting confused between the armor sets. And so now I'm like, I have to be careful and I make sure to do all my research and everything. And, get these tally marks right, the weld marks right. Cause that's what I was like, I think he has weld marks on the side, at least on some pictures I've seen. But like
Yeah.
some people say it was like one, he was wanting to keep like the phase one helmet like in a way to like pass it on, but also he could see better out of it, right?
Yeah, I mean that was like the thing. And one of my favorite, like kind of piggybacking on that, one of my favorite things about the stormtroopers is like they kind of did a canon version of why they are such bad shots and apparently they
Yeah.
just can't see through it. Like, because there's an episode in Rebels where Kanan and Rex have to like dress up as stormtroopers to get into an Imperial base. And literally Kanan like kind of like roasts Rex for his shooting. And Rex like takes his helmet off and like throws it. And he's like, I can't see out of this.
I was just like, maybe it was the phase two armor was harder to see at it because I'm trying to think where the phase one was more of like I'm trying to remember like the way the visor looked, but I think on phase two it was a lot more narrow, right? It was like the plus sign. Oh, not plus sign, almost like a T shape.
It was, let's look it up again. Let's share it.
What? Sorry, I would say I started giggling because Echo was going right next to me, like growling at me because she wants attention.
Okay, so
And
here you got phase one, right?
okay, so maybe it was the phase. I was gonna say
So here's
so.
phase one.
Cody's is a phase one.
No, his is a phase. He transfers to a phase two. Like
Okay,
here's,
okay.
see, everyone transfers to the phase two helmet except Rex fully, because if we do Rex Clone Wars Phase 2. As you can
Oh,
see, his visor is the same as Phase 1. It's just the bottom is the same as Phase 2.
okay, okay. Now I'm curious why it's like, oh, so he could see better or something like that.
Like this is Cody in
Cody's
Phase
kind of drippy though.
This is Cody in Phase 1, and then I mean this is a movie, the movie depiction, but like same thing. So this is Phase 2. And he always has his little visor because he's cool like that.
I gotta say, this is where it's hard, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like, yes, Captain Rex is my favorite, but then I'm like, Cody looks nice. Like he's got more of this like sleekness where it's kind of like seeing like Master Chief, right? Where you're like, oh, that dude's in charge, you know, where you're like, oh, that's the commander. And then like
Well,
with
he's the Marshal Commander.
right, that's what I'm saying though. And then like with Wolf, his is more intimidating, but it doesn't have like the pop factor.
Yeah.
Like I was looking up too because have you heard of Bartok?
No.
So apparently I don't know if like there's an actual like comic around it or if it was just art that was done. But when I was looking for those 3D models, the person that sold, you know, the 3D model for the armor set, you know, you'd done Cody's and stuff, but then he had Bartok versions. And that's why I was like, what is this? Because it was like looked medieval, right?
Mm.
It looked like real. And I guess like Bartok was the artist who made, I don't know if it was like made them look like Lord of the Rings, but it either way made them
Oh.
look like medieval. And like I will say Wolf's armor is really cool looking because he almost looks like, you know, like when it's like, oh, there's the white knight and the black knight. And it's like that dude looks like a black knight. Like he looks scary. If I saw that man coming at me, I would feel like how the hound felt. I feel like how you would feel him approaching. I'm like, that's a bad dude.
I just love it. I love it so much. I love that you're doing like all the armor and stuff. I told you you have to like make TikToks or something with it.
I don't know, do thirst traps. So you know what I'm gonna get? You know what I'm gonna get with doing Captain Rex though, the one line I know I'm gonna hear more than ever. Aren't you kind of short for a stormtrooper? It's gonna be a clone trooper. I already know it's coming. I already know because I'm telling you, trying to size this stuff down to like fit a woman. There's just certain parts of like that armor that is hard to fit when you're like, but it made me realize, you know what I said before. They're kind of slutty in their armor.
Yeah.
Like it's like it really cinches up. You know what I mean? Like it's tight, and it's like you look at them, and it's like in like the live action that you're showing shows them kind of bulkier, where you're
Right.
like, okay, it's free moving, but it's armor. That shit is skin tight, skin tight
I guess it's
in
better to
Clone
move in.
Wars.
I guess it's better to move in.
It is cinched. Their waist snatched, thighs snatched.
I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna look her up on Share, but one day you should look up. Oh God, what is her name? Really quick, hang on. One day or now, but not on stream, right? Uh, you could look up Darth Talon, and I guess you could wear that into battle.
Well, now I gotta look. Let me just bring up my phone here. Let's see. Darth Talon. Let's see. Oh my. Oh no. Oh yes. Oh no. I want to say I think I read about her. Like, didn't she dress that way to like basically like to use her body as a weapon?
Yes, 100%.
Oh hell yeah.
And she's a Sith, of course. I was just thinking of, that soundbite where it's like, I hope you're hungry for nothing.
For nothing. I feel like those those little skits where they're like, oh, the men's armor in a game, and it's like thick, bulky, badass looking. And it's like, what's the women's armor? And it's
Skimp.
like metal nipple covers, like
And
it's
that's
just
it.
like nothing. It's nothing. Oh
I'm thinking of
Lord.
every like Tekken game back in like the day.
Oh boy. I was gonna say you unearthed a memory of working at GameStop and getting our very few and rare games that we had to keep in the back because their cover art was too
Too
little
provocative.
yeah, and it's like where you would open up a case to like look at it, like, oh, does it have a booklet in it or something like that. The booklets had to go too. They were
Wait,
they were the part and it was always like armor sets that's like robot girls with nothing on, and I'm like, dude, please, this is
for
GameStop.
for all the Gen Z people who would be watching this, yes, CDs and game used to have books in them, little book arts, little inserts and everything. I used to be able to read about all the characters and how to do this, how to do that. And it's like there's such personality. There was such
I,
personality.
I miss Sonic Adventure Battle 2 is one of my favorite booklets because it had big pictures of Sonic and Tails and Shadow. And I carried that little booklet with me all the time to school. I wasn't exactly very popular at school.
I mean, no shit. No.
Echo, I need aloe vera.
For that burn.
I need it. She's staring at me like, are you going to take that?
Yeah, right.
Are you going to take that? Don't worry, Echo. She's coming this year. Then you can bite her.
No. Uh have you seen the Sonic movies, by the way? They're very good. I know this is not anything to do with the podcast, but
I
they're
was gonna
very
say
good.
I have not actually seen them.
They're
I have a
actually
bad habit of seeing most of the clips on TikTok and then crying over them and going, oh, and then Aaron all the time will go, oh, have you seen this movie? You know everything about it. And I'm like, it's like Timmy Turner. It's like, where did you get that? The internet.
wait, what was it? It was the internet inheritance. I inherited
Did
the internet.
internet. I
Wait,
love it.
have you seen the thing that essentially it was confirmed that Timmy Turner like pretty much wished that he stopped growing like 50 years ago and that everyone forgot about? And I'm like,
Yeah, he wished that. Yeah, like one of the last episodes is like
that he was
he
forever a
wished.
kid.
Yeah, that everybody stopped aging and that nobody realized it because they didn't know about the wishes, and then he made Cosmo and Wanda forget that they had made it was a secret wish.
It's crazy to me, but it's kind of a funny way to explain, like, because obviously they're cartoons, they're never going to age, but it's kind of like a cool thing to like,
I think
but
it was
also
like a
sick.
joking, it was like a joking headcanon for a long time, I
Yeah.
think, if I like remember right. Like, oh, what if he's not aging because he wished he would never age? And they're like, hey, there you go.
There you go. But yeah. What was that like? Oh my god. Anyway, moving on. But yes, Clone Wars. I love it so much. I also wanted to
No.
say, like, obviously, I feel like we're going to talk a lot about like Clone Wars, but I do want to get into the fact that you got me into Mass Effect and then fell off the face of the earth when it comes to Mass Effect. And so, like,
I know. I still need to play the games. What ends up happening is I start, like, if I got to work on something, I dig into it, and then I'm like, I gotta keep my eye on the prize, and it's like all I want to do is just sit and play Mass Effect. But I know if I sit and play it, I will do absolutely nothing else. I will be like you. You know how you hyperfixate into a game? I will be you. You will never hear from me again for like days. Be like, how are you, Britt?
I,
Mass Effect,
I
Garrus,
wait,
Targaryen.
let me tell you, right? And this does have to do with Star Wars in a way, right? Because
Yeah.
I think I was telling you, Broadsword, right, did Star Wars: The Old Republic, the like online RPG that I really like, and they also did Mass Effect, and there's so many similarities to it. But can I like tell you what my biggest thing about playing Mass Effect was for the first time?
Tell me.
And I guess spoilers for anyone who's never played.
Big
But
blinking sign.
but I did not start with Mass Effect 1. I started with Mass Effect 2 because I was like, my character Shepard is romancing Garrus. I do not care. And you can't do that in Mass Effect 1, so I was like, throw it away. And the
Yo,
thing and the thing is that like Mass Effect 2, you can essentially do like this interactive I think they even know that people aren't going to play Mass Effect 1 because they're like, hey, you could do an interactive comic that pretty much gives you the entire rundown of the first game, and then any of like the important decisions that you would have made in Mass Effect 1 you can make during this like little comic. That way then that's your character in Mass Effect 2. So that's what I do, right?
yeah.
So you do Mass Effect 2, I get my crew. I like my first playthrough because you can essentially make that game as short or long as you want it to. I, in my head, was like, because in Star Wars: The Old Republic, there's a lot of side quests that even once you complete your class story, you can go and do them if you've never done them. So I was like, I'll wait till I finish. That was not the right thing to do. I was not good, right? The final battle, everyone died. I had like two people left, and I was like, wait, no, I thought people lived. Like, how are these characters in the third one if they
Yeah,
all die
yeah.
in like the final battle? And then I'm like watching YouTube videos, and it's like, well, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, and this one, and I'm like, everyone died. Everyone died in like really horrific ways too. And I was
You know
like,
what's funny is that you said that the scientists lived in your playthrough, right?
Morden lived in my playthrough. It was Morden and it was Jacob, who is like one of the like few humans on your team, and that was it. That was it.
You want to know something really funny?
What?
So I was telling one of the guys at work, I was like about, you play in Mass Effect. And he said, and his favorite character was Morden. He did a like little statue bust of him, like a 3D print. And he said, yeah, I'm sad that he dies. He was like, because the only way he lives is by being like really awful and doing really terrible choices. And then I went, that was the only person that lived out of my best friend's playthrough. He goes, oh no.
Well,
And I was like the irony of that situation.
it's like literally and then I didn't realize that you have to grind, Brittany, like nobody's business. Like you have to upgrade your ship, you have to upgrade like everything because like
You
I
said
don't know,
this is not just a dating sim. I can't just brute
like
force it.
can I tell this is our yapping sesh. I want to yap for this, right? It's like, so you go into your final battle in the second one, and as you're getting there, your ship gets hit with a beam. Thane and Jack and Kasumi dead. All from that because I didn't bother reinforcing the armor of the ship. I didn't know I had to do that. That's something you have to do. So they died. And like, then it's just there's so much and everyone dies, so now I'm like redoing it, and I'm like, I will make sure everyone lives, and if like someone dies, then maybe it's like the one or two people I don't like, but everyone else is living. Okay, it's happening.
And you know what's funny?
What?
I've been with me wanting to play Mass Effect. I was sitting there. I was like, I wonder how they all died. And then my brain is like here, and then I'm like, okay, step one, upgrade the ship. I
Well,
was say, what was Garrus's death
okay,
like?
so let me tell you, right, because there's
Oh
multiple decisions.
no,
All right,
yeah.
so it's like you get there and there are so many decisions that you can make, right? Who is like the leader of this, who decides to like crack this, and who's on your team with this, right? So it's like all of that makes like a
Yeah.
decisions. um but to me, before I go into that, one of the most fucked up decisions in my thing is, so at some point in your game, before you get to the final battle, you like trigger a thing that happens and your ship gets attacked um by the enemies, and like all of your crew, not like your companions, but like the people who work in the ship, the NPCs, like all of them get kidnapped. And in my
All
head,
of them.
yeah, all of them, like the cook, the medic, the this, the that. And
Yeah.
again, in my head, I'm thinking about other games. I'm like, okay, like I'll do all the side quests and then I'll get to them. If you take too long getting there, most of them are liquefied. And yes, liquefied. So that's also a thing.
Tia, you're a bad person.
I'm a bad captain, right?
You're a bad captain.
So that's how like most of your crew dies, right? Tali died because she got shot in the head, which was awful. Freaking poor Samara died from exhaustion.
This
And
is the her arms were cut off. Her like
yeah,
it all goes full circle. All right, tell me how you messed up Garrus.
okay, so Garrett, I thought Garrus was good, right? Like I made sure Garrett,
Everybody else, as long as the big reptilian man lives.
I thought Garrus was good. He was on my team, right? Miranda and I were like running all that, and everything's good. We're about to like make it. We're like home free, and all of a sudden this swarm of like insects drags him off.
Oh no.
I, like the characters in the cutscene, they're like running and they're like, go, go, go. And Garrus is almost there, and all of a sudden it's like, no, Shepherd. And it's like, so like everyone died. It was really sad.
Were you just jaw dropped
I lit
afterwards?
I literally was like, say psych. Say psych.
He'll
And
be okay. He just will have a new scar, but it'll be okay.
there,
Spoiler alert, it wasn't okay.
there's a character in the game, the guy who flies the ship is Joker, and he's like the one guy who's gonna live no matter what because he's flying the freaking like ship. And so in the cutscene, it's literally like just him touching all the like coffins of the deceased, and then your character's walking, and whoever survives just like turns around and like nods to you. And literally, it was just Jacob and Morden, and I was
I
like,
nod at you and go, this is all your fault.
so now I am upgrading my ships, I'm upgrading my armor, my weapons. I'm doing all the side quests because that's another thing. They're like, make sure you do, each character's like loyalty quests. And I'm like, all right, we gotta do everyone's loyalty quests. And it's like,
It made you get invested.
I am invested, but I want to make sure that I
But I
get
mean,
to
they're making you get invested in everything.
in
In
everything.
everything.
And so they're making sure that in order to get to Mass Effect 3, that I have the best timeline. Because apparently you can't romance Garrus in Mass Effect 3 unless you already had in Mass Effect 2. So you can't even like,
You can't even like rig it.
no,
Like you can't, it doesn't give you the beginning option, like, hey.
no, it's literally like,
They wanted to make sure you bought the second game. Like if you came into the third game, like, oh, I just want to romance Garrus, they were like, no, 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 no. No, no, no. You have to do all of it.
I will say there's some really cool characters, like when you get more invested in the characters and their like loyalty quests and stuff like that. You should play it, Brittany. I
I
know
will
that you
play it.
I know that you're working on your Rex armor, but you should find time at some time
You know what I'm
to
probably
play.
going to end up doing? I was going
What?
to tell you this earlier, but I fly on Thursday to go see old AA Ron. So I
Ah,
already got it downloaded. So when I'm like having to go to the airport at 5 a.m. and fly all day, then I'm going to play it. And then also while he's working, I'm going to play it. On the flight back, I'm going to play it.
it's
So
worth it. I like it because as much as I like Star Wars The Old Republic, that game is strictly for the PC, and as you know, I'm not really a PC gamer. But Mass Effect I can play on the PlayStation, so
I gotta play it. You're right. I've been putting it off too long. Here's the thing, is like I love the thought of things,
Yeah.
and then I know that I hit the ground running so hard, like get so obsessive. I'm like,
You and I definitely have like the problem of, oh my God, what is it called? Hyperfixations. It's like, because now that like I hit the ground running with Star Wars, and now that I'm playing like Mass Effect now, I find myself watching YouTube videos about the lore, and I'm like, this is the problem.
I was seeing this TikTok about what would you rather have? Hyperfixation son or special interest daughter? And I was like, have you heard the difference between a special interest and a hyperfixation?
Oh, you told me about this not that long ago, and I feel like didn't we find out that actually what we are special interests, like
Yeah,
people?
because it was like hyperfixations are like a momentary blip, but like special interests are like a long term, like Transformers, long term,
Long
long
term.
term, very long term. And I'm gonna say at this point, I feel like it's funny because I feel like Call of Duty, like the remake and the big hit and run with like everybody obsessed with it. I feel like that was recent, but I feel like it's been a couple of years now since that came out, and I still like I. And what's funny is most people are like, I never played the games. I don't even know what the games are about.
I tell you, I tried to play the games. First of all, I do not like first person shooters. I'm a third person girly.
Yeah,
And people
me
so
neither, girl.
so I didn't play the like campaign because it's like $100 for
Yeah,
that. And I'm
yeah.
like, no. So I was like, okay, playing online with others is like free. I'm sorry, Brittany, I'm like a low stress gamey girly, right? People have been playing that for too long. It's like GTA Online. As soon as I spawn, I'm getting sniped out, and I'm like, never mind.
I have this moment with like first person shooters, especially with the online gameplay, where I am so embarrassed by how bad I am. I'm sitting there, I'm like, let me turn the mic off. Let me turn the chat off. I cannot hear the things or read the things that these people are about to say to me. Don't even look at me.
I mean, I saw something that said that there, and this is probably a hot take, but that there should be something for beginners. Because it's like if you're a beginner and you're like going and playing with people who've been playing it since it came out, you're at a huge disadvantage.
You know what sucks though, and it's like I know people like this. So I was gonna say, especially Ryan. Like, if he ever watches this, Ryan, he what's bad is if they have a tier for people that are like beginners, right?
Mm-hmm.
There will be people that smurf accounts, which I don't know if you've ever heard of smurfing. I
No,
think
what
that's
is
right.
this?
It's where people like either lose on purpose so that they're like level lowers because there's like elo, right? Where that's
Uh,
what most of these like FPS games they put you like if you're really good, they start ranking you up and you play with like a higher tier of people, but you got to keep like playing well, like keep your elo up so that you play with these higher up people, right? But it gets hard, it's really competitive. So most people starting out, they start at a lower level, kind of like CS:GO, like Counter Strike,
mm-hmm.
and but people will either lose on purpose or make new accounts so that they're like, oh, top tier elite players, but they spawn into where the greenhorns are, so they kill everyone for the fun
That's
of
not
it.
right.
I know, that's what I'm gonna say, and I know he does it, and that's how like, and there's YouTubers that love doing it, but they make an entire series around it. I'm like, that's what would happen like with beginner stuff. There's always gonna be that one person that spawns and is like, yeah.
I literally quit playing GTA Online because of that. Like, Paulie excels in GTA Online. He has like the gusto to be with the others, right? Me, I'm like, I just want to like, play and see what the new content
He
is.
comes in
Da,
with
da.
the New York attitude. He's like, go, go, go.
Brittany, there was literally one time that I got sniped out like 10 times each time I respawned. And then after the person like messaged me in game and was like, sorry, smiley face. And I was like, I just want to shut this is why I play story. This is why I play story,
There's a lot
Brittany.
of cheaters also in
Hmm.
GTA Online. They'll like hack in and they'll like mess with stuff and mess with people. And I'm like,
I can't do that. Like with Star Wars The Old Republic, it is online, you see others, but unless you specifically go to like PvP areas,
yeah,
you
you're not having to worry about people.
right. So it's like I don't mind when you're playing and you see like other people, it's like because you know that you're not going to get like stabbed in the back every 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, oh, but yeah.
yeah. Oh my goodness. That's what I was gonna say. Felt like I was gonna say something and then I kind of like stopped because I was like I knew we were approaching like that hour mark. So I was
Yeah.
like, because it's always like I always want to roll and roll and roll, and then I'm like, what'd you say before? Leave some for like on air. But then my brain was like for next time.
Oh, but what is it? Now I'm like curious.
I don't remember now. I had a blonde moment.
You did have a blonde moment,
I had a
but
blonde moment. I was gonna say on a blonde moment note, I did laugh because with doing this Captain Rex cosplay, I
uh-huh.
was like, oh, blah blah blah. And I was like, funnily, happily enough, it's like one of the only blonde clones that I decided to cosplay.
I I love that he's like what is it, genetically blonde? He like he didn't dye it. It's like he's just blonde. But that clearly is whatchamacalls it, a like a thing because there's one or two episodes where they show like the cadets, like the little mini clones,
Yeah,
and a few of them have blonde hair. So I'm
I,
like,
I I will never forget you telling me he's not bald, Brittany. He's just blonde, and I was like, I thought he was bald because it
they
was before
they
the
show
whole
it in
time
like
watching
certain
it.
someone said that because when this was all created was like when Eminem was really popular in his Slim Shady like era, and so they were like
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
the bleach blonde hair, but yeah, so yeah,
And
we're
you end up
definitely
having a clone named like, which commander is that? Well, that was Marshal Commander Mathers.
Matt. I
So
love all
dumb.
I love the clones though. Oh my
I
god,
do too.
but yeah, we are definitely approaching the hour mark, and I feel like we should probably wrap up because I also feel tired right now. I feel like my energy just kind of went like,
It was that banana cream. Like,
it doesn't have any caffeine in it. I was
know what
like,
it probably was? Your withdrawal from Mass Effect. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell
no,
me I'm wrong.
no.
You're like, I haven't even thought about Mass Effect today. I haven't even looked at it. And I'm like,
Wait, can I tell you really quick before we like do our outro? I tried playing at Mass Effect 1 and it just doesn't hit as well. So I was like, no, I can't do it. No.
that's because you're not romancing Garrus or
Well,
Thane.
well, also some of the like controls are different and the ship is different and I'm just
There's
like,
quite a bit. I think there's actually quite a few years in between Mass Effect 1 and 2
well, like in-game years or you mean out-game years?
out game years.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell like some of the like, and I know that we're obviously playing like the remastered version, but even with that, like some of the buttons are different. And I don't know. I'm so used to now playing like the second one.
It's one of those that's like didn't age as well as the others. That's like when people are like, "Oh, just play Elder Scrolls Oblivion." I'm like, I know Oblivion is such a good game, but I got to play Skyrim because unless you mod the hell out of it, it did not age well.
Paulie was playing Skyrim for a little bit and he liked it. Um, it's funny because we watch sometimes like the YouTube videos of people now doing like AI where they're interacting with like AI versions on Skyrim and it's kind
Yeah,
of gold.
I there's a mod. I gotta see if it's actually a real mod or not, but it's like brain rot, like a brain rot mod where it's like it'd be like the dragon flying over, and they're like, "Damn, that dragon dummy thick." Like there's just like
Stop.
it's just like the words have all changed,
Oh
and I'm
my
like, I
god.
kind of need that.
I like Skyrim looks cool, but again, it's first person and I just can't deal with first person. I don't know.
You can switch to third person view.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know. Maybe it's just Bethesda because I tried to like play Fallout 4 after the show came out and I was like obsessed with the show.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I
It's
can't get
I
into Fallout. I
the sh-
eventually will. That's
the
gonna get
sh-
me canceled. Just
the I know how dare you.
how dare you? I was like, I don't know. I just maybe I need to give it another go.
The show is amazing, right? The show is so good. Walton Goggins is like top tier in it. But the gameplay, like to me, to me, Fallout 4, to me, is okay. I will say again, the lore in Fallout is really effing cool, really
You would
twisted.
probably like Fallout New Vegas
That's
the
what everyone
best.
says.
Yeah,
And then,
you would probably like New Vegas because I like New Vegas. I wasn't crazy about Fallout 4.
wait, can I tell you? Really, I keep saying that. Wait, can I tell you one last thing? One last
And
thing.
another thing, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
And I know you haven't seen the show Fallout, but I know you also won't care about me spoiling things.
No.
So again, I didn't play the game till after the show. So the show ends, and at the end of it, it's like one of the characters, like the main bad character, he's like overlooking something. To me, it just looks like nothing, right? I have no idea what the hell I'm
Yeah.
looking at. But when I like went online, everyone's like, New Vegas, New Vegas,
Oh
New Vegas in season two is
no. They're like
coming.
freaking out losing it.
And
That's
I
so
was like,
funny.
so then I had to do like lore dives and everything. So yes, clearly New Vegas is happening in season two. But
Oh my gosh. I would say New Vegas is one of the games that need to play again. Like
oh, so you've played it before?
a little bit. I was playing
Mm.
it modded just enough to like update the graphics whenever I was it was one of the first games I ever streamed and I was loving it and then something broke and I at that point wasn't the little little computer fixer like I am now. So I just stared at it and got depressed and then I was like, I'll come back to it and I never came back to it.
Brittany goes into IT mode all the time, like the smallest thing. She's just like, I can do it.
I can do it. I gotta just prove I can do it. I have become my parents.
Yes, yes, you have. But so, Brittany, I know that you are not streaming as much as you used to, but I did want to give you the opportunity to kind of shout yourself out if you choose. If you don't want to, that's fine. We could just cut
And I'm
this
like, I
out.
hate everything. Don't come find me. I was gonna say if I do stream occasionally. One day you get back to it like I was. But itty bitty Brit on Twitch. I believe my handle on I keep wanting to say Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore. On
It's
X, it,
Twitter.
it's Twitter. It's itty bitty Brit zero. As for YouTube, I put it as itty bitty Brit, but also I know there's numbers at the end of it. There's no telling. It's pixel art. You'll find it.
Yeah, yeah, you'll
You'll
find it. You'll
find it.
find it. As for me, I still am on Geek Fives Nation. You can check out all of my interviews there. I also am part of the KJ Today Kind of Nerdy Network, so please make sure you check their YouTube out as well. I had fun. I can't wait for the next episode as we yap about everything and nothing in particulars.
All things spacey.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly.
us.
But
Bye
bye.
now. Bye bye.
You stop recording.